So welcome to Game Scotch. We have a very special episode today. My name's Aiden, and Kyle's here with us. Kyle Reaume.
Hello.
Is it Reaume? Reaume?
Yeah, Reaume.
He's a film director in Toronto. I'm just going to read out your bio real quick because you're doing some cool stuff. Let's see. All right, so Kyle is a Toronto-based director, editor, and actor who was screened at over 40 film festivals worldwide. In 2016, Kyle won the Inside Out Bravo Fact pitch competition, receiving a grant to produce his short, What About Shelly? Shelly kicked off its festival run at the 2017 Inside Out LGBT Film Festival and has since screened in 18 festivals worldwide. I keep wanting to say Q because that's what I keep hearing. It doesn't matter. Okay. His latest short, Vertical Lines, debuted at the BFI Flair in March 2018 and has since won the Best Men's Short Audience Award at Wicked Queer Boston. Kyle's also the creator and editor of Drag Race Supercuts. Yeah, we talked about that earlier, but I kind of want the audience to kind of understand what that is.
Yeah. So Drag Race Supercuts, it's a YouTube channel that I started, and I just started it for fun. So I'm a big Drag Race fan, and basically what happened was last summer, I guess I've had the channel about a year now. I was just re-watching the show, and I have all of the episodes torrented, and I had pretty good quality of everything. And I just kept thinking to myself as I'm binging it, I'm like, oh man, somebody should make like a supercut of like every time RuPaul says this, or every time one of these drag queens who develop their own catchphrases, every time they say one of those catchphrases.
Right.
Because then the other thing too is across the series, however many seasons, there's so many times RuPaul will reuse the same joke or say the same thing. It's like, so there's all these running things. So I did a couple quick YouTube searches and realized that nobody had made these supercuts. And I was like, oh, you know what? I was like, I want to do it, but then it also just seems like a lot of work. So I just kept watching the show. And then after like another week, I was just like, you know what? Fuck it. I was like, I have like all of the episodes. I should just do it. Yeah. So I think I made I just fired off like 3 or 4 because you can sort of edit multiples at the same time if you're pulling from anyways. But I just put a few online, and then they just started getting like tens of thousands of views. No way. And well, because what happened was...
But this is your channel. This is your creation. This is insane.
This is my channel. So
it's insane.
I mean, the one thing that helped hugely was after I made the first couple, every time I made a new one, I posted it to the Drag Race subreddit. Yeah. And it instantly got 1,000 upvotes or something. Wow. So my most popular one, which is Drag Queens Not Knowing Things, which is a compilation of drag queens having dumb moments or not knowing common words, common phrases. Yeah. That one has 1.1 million views now, which is really cool because I've never made anything online that's had over 1 million views.
Have you ever thought of monetizing this or?
Okay, so here's the thing: is it was monetized. When I first started the channel, it was monetized, but I also knew that was going to be borrowed time because it's copyrighted content. It's somebody else's TV show. But when it was monetized, I was making some good YouTube monetization. But what happens now is because they have caught on to me, now as soon as I upload a video, it gets demonetized. So I truthfully don't do it as often, and that's not because of the lack of monetization. That's because it keeps getting blocked in the U.S. Yeah. So the views are
so lower than you can't even watch it
in the U.S. But the thing is, this is a testament to how popular Drag Race is everywhere else, though, because it's blocked in the U.S., but it still gets the channel still gets a few 100,000 views a week from everywhere else in the world. It's good though. Cool. It's fun. I've talked to other people casually where I'm like, oh yeah, Drag Race Supercuts. And they're like, what? They're like,
I need that.
They're like, I've heard of that. They're like, I know that channel. They're like, that's you. And I'm like, yeah. And I was like, you know it? They're like, yeah, me and my friends love it. And I'm like, wow, that's so cool. I never thought I'd make something that's just casually on some people's radar.
That's awesome.
It's fun.
So you've also have a bunch of short films kind of on the festival circuit. What About Shelly? Vertical Lines is in the process of
so Vertical Lines, so I think Shelly is... So What About Shelly, which came out last year, I think it's pretty much done its festival run. It's technically... I think it's actually still submitted to 3 or 4, but I just don't think I don't think it's really gonna go to
go?
them. I mean, I
Okay.
think its time is
It's
time is over. But it went to 19, which is really cool.
Wow.
It's great.
Is that all around Canada or
No,
is that
that's worldwide.
worldwide? So
Oh,
did you
yeah.
travel to these festivals? Or?
So for Shelly, I went to. I think the only place that I traveled to Shelly was Iceland. So it
Wow.
got.
I think I actually saw pictures on your Instagram or story or something. Or your,
So it got into the Reykjavik Film Festival, and I was
Wow.
also accepted to the Talent Lab. So Shelly was screening as part of the Talent Lab's selected shorts.
right.
So I got to go there and screen it, and it was awesome. And like it was such a great group of people in the lab. There was actually like 4 people from Toronto in the lab.
No way.
And I actually met my producer Brendan through the lab. So he lives here and he's in Toronto, but
And
we
you just met him in
We
Iceland?
met through doing the lab,
No
and
way.
he produced a micro feature that was at Inside Out here last year.
Wow.
So we even like running in the same circuit, like Shelly screened in the same festival as his film.
And you're working with him now, kind of?
I
Or-
am. So
yeah.
he co-produced Vertical Lines.
Right.
And then he's also a producer on this new short that I have a crowdfunding campaign for right now called Serial Thrilla.
And that's what we're talking about today. We're promoting that today.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes, we are.
Can you tell our listeners about the plot of
Yeah.
Serial Thrilla?
So Serial Thrilla is like, it's a really dark horror comedy. And it's basically about a man who comes home to find a serial killer waiting for him. And so I am a actor as well as director. So the serial killer is being played by me. So it's just
nice.
like, it's this really wacky, fun role. And the way that I've described it is it's almost like this absurdist stand-up comedy routine. Because
Okay.
basically the idea of the short is he has the guy tied up and gagged. And then you basically, it just takes you through him talking to him and describing like how he's going to kill him and yada yada, and then he just sort of starts going off tangents talking about himself, and like really you just get a sense of how narcissistic
He's looking for reactions from the guy.
kind of
of?
well
Yeah.
sort of. I mean, I think the concept is he's so it's almost sort of, in a way, it's a little bit of a play on the way that gay men can be really insecure, because
Okay.
sort of the joke behind it. And it's okay if people watch it and they don't get it because it's not super obvious. But it's like, he is a serial killer, but he's also just like so concerned with what other people think about him.
Yeah.
Like there's like a joke in it. It's like near the end of the movie when he has the guy tied and gagged on the end of the bed. He comes up to him and he's like, I have a question for you. And he's like, when you first came in and you saw me standing there, did you think I looked cool?
Cool.
Because like I worked really hard on this outfit.
Yeah.
Like I was like, it's, you know, this is
I
like
worked
my
hard on this.
This is my serial
murder.
killer gig.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just want to know, like, what did you think when it first, like,
I just want you to appreciate the amount of work I put into this.
yeah. So it's almost sort of like this weird comedy routine, because the guy who's tied and gagged doesn't actually get to talk too much.
No, obviously.
But I just think it's like, I just had this like random stroke of inspiration, and like I wrote the entire thing in one go, and I was actually laughing as I wrote it, which is new for me because I do write comedy, but I just think it's like the wackiest, funniest thing that I've written.
Nice.
And it's got a very strange energy that I'm super excited to bring to screen, because the only other like one that was really comedic short that I did was Shelly, and it's like a comedy drama, so the comedy is more like the levity to break up some of the more dramatic parts.
Right.
But this short, Serial Thrilla, is just sort of like high octane, wacky
It's
energy.
just whack.
And
the
it's
whole
dark
thing.
too,
Yeah.
because, you know, I mean, he is there to kill the guy.
This sounds like a film that I would be obsessed with. Like, this sounds like...
I can't wait to do it.
Yeah. That's cool.
Yeah.
So you have a Kickstarter campaign going. What's it?
It's
What do you?
actually
What
an
do you fund?
Indiegogo campaign.
Indiegogo. Sorry, Indiegogo.
It's okay.
I'll put a link down below. What are you funding? Well, what are you looking to? What are you going to put the money towards? Kind of.
Well, so basically, it's a small shoot, because it's really a one-day thing.
Right.
And we're also very lucky to get the location of my producer's apartment, which is this beautiful high-rise with, like, you know, giant glass windows, so it'll look great. But
you have a video of that in the part of the...
We do, yeah. We put a video on Instagram just showing people like a taste of our location. But what we really need the funds for is essentially paying for all of the equipment because, you know, we got to shoot on cameras and we got to get some lighting.
Right.
And then just paying our small crew and feeding them as well.
Yeah.
I mean, a big thing is, you know, you got to feed everybody. You got to give them a good lunch. And there's also got to be...
What do you mean you guys need to eat?
Coffee and snacks.
Coffee. What? Excuse me? Well, that's really cool. That's really exciting.
Yeah.
So you said earlier that you had a funny story you wanted to say for the podcast. Is now the time to talk about it?
Oh, my Breath of the Wild one.
Oh, okay. Wait. Okay, we'll wait.
We can save that.
This
for
is
later.
the gaming podcast.
That is a good story. It's something very stupid that I did. But.
Yeah. Okay. So Kyle's also a decently big gamer. Like
medium,
you game a lot too.
I'd say
medium?
like medium gamer. I mean, I definitely love some games. I have a very hard time with completing games.
Right. Yeah.
But my favorite games are the ones that I've finished.
Right.
So I have finished like probably at least 5 games in my life. I could list them off. They're mostly Zelda. They're mostly Zelda games. I've completed Ocarina of Time. Oh, I've never beaten Majora's Mask. I've gotten so close and I've never beaten it. But I've done Twilight Princess and I didn't beat Skyward Sword either. I'm at the end. And then I've actually beat Breath of the Wild twice.
Mm-hmm. That's an amazing game. Like I still I think about it every day.
So as someone who doesn't have a huge amount of gaming experience, but I would say medium, I just think Breath of the Wild is one of the best video games I've ever played. Like it's just so expansive and it's endless and there's so many different things that you can do with it. And like, if you want to go in and just play story stuff, well, you can get right the fuck down to business.
Yeah.
Or if you just want to ride around on your horse for 16 hours,
right,
you can do that. And if you just want to go and pick mushrooms, you can do that. Or if you just want to farm dragon parts or whatever.
Go tame some horses or anything you want to do.
You know what's actually one of my favorite things? And it's funny because when I started the game, and I mean, I feel like a lot of people probably felt this way too, but I was terrified of all the Guardians.
Yeah.
So I straight up avoided them, which I think a lot of people,
yeah.
I think some people have actually gotten through the entire game without ever actually fighting one, which is crazy because once I learned how to properly fight them, it's my favorite thing.
It's easy with the Master Sword though.
Well, because like, I mean, there's so many things you can do, but the easiest thing that you can do, is you can, with your shield, you can parry the laser.
Yep.
And if you parry it, you can kill it in 3 blows.
Yeah. You have to be good at that, though.
Yeah, but the thing is, I've done it so many times, I've become very good at it.
Nice.
And then the other thing, too, is you can just stasis them, and then you run up to them, and you just slash the shit out of them. One of my favorite things to do is you go around in a circle, and you take all their legs out.
Yeah.
Another thing that I've also discovered recently, I don't know if this is 100% true, but I'm convinced that it is, because I've killed so many of them. The more hits you deal to it, like going around and chopping its legs off, the more parts that it will release. Yeah. The faster you kill it, I actually think the less parts it's likely to release.
Yeah, because you break its legs, like pieces drop, right?
Like so, the thing about the Guardians is with the pieces that it drops, because it could also drop an ancient core or a giant ancient core. Yeah. Those are actually, unlike other parts of the game, there is no guaranteed system of like, oh, this Guardian always releases giant ancient cores.
It's a random drop.
It's completely randomized, but I am convinced that the more interactive you are with killing the Guardians, the more likely those drops are to happen. Okay. Because if you just go up to it and hit it with one ancient arrow and it kills it instantly, like I've done that a lot, and you're way less. And maybe that's just me, but my perception is because I've gone around all of Hyrule Castle and just killed everything with one hit ancient arrows, and I've gotten like no giant ancient cores from it.
Because you need it for the armor set, right? Where you can craft the Guardian.
Yeah, no, but the big reason that I get giant ancient cores is because I'm obsessed with having the ancient bow. Oh, right. Because the ancient bow can shoot something from like 5 miles away. It's got the longest shot of any bow in the game. Okay. And it lasts a pretty good while too, but you need a giant ancient core, so they're difficult. But the thing is, I have played this version that I have of Breath of the Wild, or version, because I've played it twice, and I'll tell you why. But this save that I have, according to my Switch, I've played like 300 plus hours on it. I'm like, I've done everything in it 10 times. So I have, you know how you have your little house in Hiteno Village, and you can have your
you build the kind of mini town.
Yeah, and you can have your shields and your stuff on the wall and your bows. I have just a full set. I have four. I have 3 ancient bows on the wall, and then 2 in my inventory. So I've just spent a lot of time
just grinding the guardians.
Yeah. Well, yesterday or the day before, because I've played through everything in the game. When I get bored, I just give myself some kind of a task, a hunt.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'm gonna go to Hyrule Castle, and then from like the outside of the castle all the way to the inside, I am going to kill every single guardian there. So I'm gonna kill all the walking ones, all of the turnstile ones, like literally everything outside the castle and then in. And I got like 3 giant ancient cores from doing that. I was like, sweet, I'm going to go get 3 ancient bows now.
It's weird. Like, I was the same as you. Like at the start, I'm like, I'm not going to deal with these guardians. I'm sure they become easier later.
I was fucking terrified of them.
I was like,
well, I was convinced when I first came across the guardians and the Linnells, I was like, okay, well, I will never be able to fight one of those. And I will go this entire game without ever engaging with one.
Yeah.
But then, like, after hours and hours and hours, the game builds you up to a point where you can just fucking beat the shit out of them.
Oh, yeah. And I find this game is so polished that sometimes you can get lost in it. Like, you kind of just... You're just, okay, I'm going to go do this one mission.
You can get really easily distracted.
And on the way, you're going to be like, oh, there's a Korok seed. Oh, there's a thing over there. Oh, what's that?
By the way, how many Korok seeds have you caught in the game?
Oh, like, I've gotten a fair bit, but I think there's... Like, how many are there? There's definitely, like...
Listen... So
isn't there like over 500
I still can't wrap my brain around this. So I got I have the DLC. So the DLC comes with a Korok mask, which starts going off when you're nearby. Yeah. So I have probably clocked at least 20 hours just running around with the Korok mask on trying to catch them. And to date, I think I've caught about 400 something Korok seeds, and that's not even half.
There's 900.
There's 9 fucking hundred.
There's 900.
And you know what? I will actually say that's something I kind of hate about the game, because it's so weirdly feudal, because the whole thing is you get the Korok seeds to upgrade your weapon stash. But as of the day before yesterday, I've maxed out all my weapon stashes.
Right.
I think you need
a total of... You can do shield and bow.
You can do shield, bow, and your weapons.
Yeah.
But I think because you trade all those Korok seeds in, after I think it's 420 or like 450 seeds, you've maxed out everything. So like if you're going around collecting the other 400, 500, whatever... It's literally for nothing, because you don't get anything except after you've collected all 900. You go back to Hatsu or whatever, and he literally gives you a golden piece of shit. Yeah, which is almost like it's kind of a huge fuck you from the programmers.
Fuck you.
They're like, oh, look at you,
some shit.
Do you know how many hours you have to log to catch 900 Korok seeds?
It's only the hardcore guys they'll do it. You know, I don't think I'll ever get around to that.
I'm trying to. Because I have nothing else to do in the game now, I'm just trying to 100%. Be a completionist, but I will never do that, because I've already clocked so many hours catching like 400 Korok seeds, and I'm like, I have like dreams about it.
I still have like people...
It's too fucking much. I can't catch anymore. It's just the same thing 900 times over.
I still have people being like, oh, did you find those Korok seeds in this one area with like, you have to do something specific?
You're like,
I'm like,
you know,
what
I didn't.
The fuck?
Some of them are insanely specific.
Yeah,
and I've become.
And you can spawn from a mile away.
I've become a big fan of watching YouTubers show like things you didn't know, and I love to look up videos like, the 10 hardest to find Korok seeds in the game. And honestly, there's a couple that are so ridiculously fucking stupid.
Yeah.
There's like one, you know how you have to match the stones? There's one where there's like a set of stones that's on top of somebody's rooftop, and you have to find a way to like use your stasis to perfectly launch a stone off the ground onto somebody's rooftop. And it's just
dumb.
Like, these were like the most professional gamers showing a video of them doing it, and they're like, I did this for a fucking hour and a half to get it right. Because the best and the hardest thing about the game is the physics.
Yeah.
The physics is really, really cool.
Really well done.
But when it comes to like, you actually have to launch and perfectly hit this rock, and the trajectory, it has to land on a roof that's this big or whatever. It's really fucking hard sometimes.
I found that was the case with some of the shrines too. There's like one where it's like launch.
Oh, the physics of some.
Yeah, there's like one where it's like you go to an optional path and it's like, okay, you want to launch this ball into a thing over there, and I'm like, that sounds easy.
Yeah.
And then all your shit breaks.
Yeah.
You're like, what the?
The one thing I haven't done, but I'm extremely close, is I've gotten 118 shrines, so I only have 2 left. 2 more. And then that's when you're supposed to get the original tunic.
Yeah.
But it's like it doesn't look like the Ocarina one. It's like the older one, right?
Yeah, I forget what it looks like. I think
that's like one of the only things I haven't done in the game yet.
Do you know where those last 2 shrines are?
I do. So, like I've said, I've played the game through twice. So one of them I've done before, which is the one in the Korok Forest where you have to follow that little Korok and like it can't turn around. See. Oh, I hate that one so fucking much. Yeah. I hate it so much. And then the other one that I haven't done, oh, I just fucking hate this one. I have to use a walkthrough to do it. Is
this the one in the Forbidden Forest?
No, it's the one in the Gerudo Desert where you have to match all of the balls to their statues. It's the
I've done that one.
The 7 statue one. I fucking hate that one
because you have to climb up them and be like, okay,
you have to match the right orb to the right room.
I thought it was pretty cool.
I thought it was hard, so I used.
Well, if you have,
but that one I just don't like doing it. It's time consuming and it's boring actually.
Yeah, I find when you have that, what's that guardian's name? Rivali. When you have his like wind thing, it's pretty.
Don't get me wrong, that makes it easier, but still matching it all up is a bit of a bitch.
Right.
But I only have to do those 2. I just have to get around to it.
Awesome.
But I'm deep at the end of the game.
And you've also played Mario Odyssey, and you're at the end as well. Oh, and at the end.
Yeah. It was funny because I got Breath of the Wild, and then about a month or 2 after playing it, I was like, now I want to play Super Mario Odyssey. And then I got it. I played it for the first day. And then I was like, and now I'm going to go back to Breath of the Wild for a minute. And then I just kept playing Breath of the Wild for 3 more months.
Yeah.
So I only came back to Odyssey a couple weeks ago. But now I'm at the end, and I have really, really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
It is fun, and it's interesting because I can kind of see how the mechanics are a little bit similar to Breath of the Wild because it's because it's the same console, and it's kind of smart actually because I
more
felt
of an
like
open kind of level.
It's like it's very simple to pick it up.
Yeah.
The only thing is Mario has a lot of moves that he can do.
Yeah.
And the game just sort of immediately throws you into it. It doesn't take you through the series of mini tutorials of like, okay, and now we're going to give you a situation where you have to do a roll. And then here's a situation where you have to do whatever. So there's probably at least 5 moves that I've never
really needed
used.
To use. I find it's more for like speed runs and stuff. People like use those crazy moves to get over walls they're not supposed to.
The way that people do it though, it reminds me of like the way that experts play Smash Bros. Where you can just do like 50 crazy moves
like
in a row.
Me. I'm the best.
Like I've seen experts play it and they can basically just like if you do 5 or 6 moves in the air, you can basically just like jump up in the air and then just keep going up. Like the way that I've seen people scale walls is it's like you do a series of moves and I'm like I don't think I could really ever learn to do that.
It takes time. You got to learn all those different mechanics.
I'm pretty good like that in Breath of the Wild.
Yeah.
Though. Like I can kill some fucking shit in pretty cool ways.
Yeah. I'm playing through right now in the master mode and it's
what is the master mode again? It's just everything is all the enemies are twice as hard.
Yeah, basically.
And I think there's gold and silver Linnells.
It's weird. You start off in that first area after you get out of I forget what it's called.
The Great Plateau.
Yeah, the Great Plateau, and you just see like all the enemy placements are different, and like
so things are in different places.
Yeah, I walked down the hill and there was a Lionel there. I was like, what the fuck?
Whoa.
Already, and there was like I couldn't even fight one Bogoblin because like all you really have is a stick. And so, like, at the first part of the game, you kind of have to avoid them.
Damn, they're that hard.
Yeah, they're tough. Unless you're smart, right? Because you can drown them.
That was the thing that I thought was really, really cool about playing Breath of the Wild, though, was when you first start the game, there's a learning curve where it takes a few minutes for you to realize that you're not powerful enough to kill something just because it's in front of your path.
Right.
And because you can go anywhere in the game, in the beginning, when you're really weak, you have to actually learn how to strategically avoid things, which for me, as a not hugely experienced gamer, was new.
Right.
Because most games that I've played are not open world, and because you're on this very streamlined path, you have to always kill what's right in front of you because the way that the game works is you can't advance until you kill what's directly in front of you. So with this one, I remembered like when I was very early into the game, there's a side quest in Hateno Village where they're like, oh, there's a bunch of Boblikins down at the bay or whatever.
Go kill them.
And you have to go and kill them. And I remember like when I first did that, I failed at it like 6 or 7 times. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to have to come back to this later in the game. And then I came back to it later and I was like, okay, let's try this now. And I came back to it and I was like, oh my God, it's like
easy.
It's like 5 Boblikins and you could just fucking go up and kill all them. And I was like, I remember how hard that was in the beginning of the game.
Yeah.
Because they just kept murdering the fuck out of me. And then when you fall down a hill, you'll literally just like stumble. You'll fall for a minute straight. I mean, the physics are really funny like that.
Yeah.
I love that once you start falling, you cannot physically use your controls to stop yourself. Like you just have to fall to the bottom of a hill.
Find like a flat surface kind of thing. Yeah.
There's so many great videos of just like Link falling for a minute and a half straight. Because you can't stop it.
You can't stop.
That's what's funny.
Can't stop, won't stop. But yeah, what else do we want to talk about?
Oh well, what I was gonna say is this was really stupid on me. But what happened was, so I've played Breath of the Wild through twice now because what happened was I played it the first time. I had done everything. I had done all the Divine Beasts and I had beat Ganon. And at this point, I was just going around and fucking around and like upgrading my armor and, you know, just doing a bunch of extra fun things and maybe trying to finish all the side quests.
Yeah.
So I'd already done all that. And then I had a few friends over and I wanted to show them the gameplay from the start. And I was like, well, if you guys want, I can start a new game and then we can just play through it for a few hours or whatever. And I didn't realize
you can only have one save.
That you can only have one save per profile.
Yep.
So I didn't realize when I started a new game that I was actually erasing the one that I had just played. So I had logged like a couple hundred hours with this huge save profile of having done almost everything in the game. And then like my friends come over and we play it for like 5 or 6 hours. And then I wake up the next morning and I'm like, okay, now let me go back to my save. And I realized it was gone.
Yeah.
So thank God I really loved the game and I was still into playing it because I just immediately restarted it.
Yeah.
Because there is actually something, once you become an expert at the game, it is really fun to restart it because you have this completely different perspective when you start the game of like, okay, I should go here first and I can do this. And now
Especially
I know
you're like you're an expert at it.
Now I know how to fight something even though I only have like a stick or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I've played through the game full start to finish twice.
Do you remember at the very beginning there's a shrine at in like the cold area and you have to figure out how to
the stasis shrines or
you had to figure it was one of the first ones and you had to figure out how to get to the one you had like cold, so you're getting damage from the cold. And when I first played it, like I had no idea how to deal with it.
I had that really early in the game too. And the thing was I was still learning that like you don't have to go to areas like that immediately. So I remember it was like I was probably like I just started the game. I was less than an hour or two into it because there is a cold region really close to the Shrine of Resurrection, and I'm like trying to get across the freezing water. I'm just like,
how do
I don't know what the fuck to do.
Yeah.
And then it took me a while to learn, like, well, you're just not at a point in the game where you can go there yet. Like, you have to learn how to make an elixir and get some potion, or you have to get a warm jacket.
Well, at the old man's house, he has, like, pepper, and you have to make, like, an elixir.
That was something I didn't, like,
I didn't understand that.
He also,
but now that's where I go first, and I'm going over there now.
At the old man's house, you can also get, like, a warm doublet or whatever. But by the time I found that, I had already gotten, like, the nice one.
Yeah.
The Falcon one or whatever.
But it's really cool. Like I've watched some speedrunners. They just start the game. They go straight to Ganon. Like, and I think that's
I saw a video of somebody beat Ganon with like 3 hearts, virtually no other weapons. I think they had their stasis or the runes, but that's like it. Yeah. And I was like, well, that I don't think I could do.
I just find this game is just insanely open. You can literally do whatever the hell you want.
I know. I love.
You want to go kill Ganon right now? Go right ahead.
Yeah.
You might die, but that's okay. You know.
When I first went to the castle, I'd only done, I think, 2 of the ancient.
Oh, okay.
Or the divine beasts, and I was like, "Oh, this is so naughty. I shouldn't be here."
So naughty.
And I was like, "I don't know if I should be in this castle yet."
Hey, Ganon.
Actually, the first time
you're here.
But like, I will say that I used a lot of walkthroughs because there was just. Like, part of the thing with it being such a huge game, and this is just me as a gamer, is like, I hate the feeling of, like, wasting a bunch of time trying to do something that I don't even know if it's possible in the game. So I like to use walkthroughs to give me hints about, like, am I at least headed in the right direction? Or, like, am I trying to do something too early in the game? Because when I first started the game, also within the first 5 or 6 hours, I ended up in the Gerudo Desert. Yeah. And I was just like... I was in the desert for about 15 minutes, and I was like, you know what?
It's too hot.
I don't.
I don't like it.
I was like, this sucks. I was like, I don't want to do this, and I also have a feeling that like the divine beast that's here is like probably not the first one I should be doing.
Yeah.
So I used a walkthrough just to look at like
where should I go first?
What it suggested, and it was like maybe go to the water temple first. And I was like, okay, I'll do that.
That's exactly what I did.
Yeah.
I was like,
although I will actually say
the Zoras. I wanted to see those guys, and
I will actually say even though the Zora, like even though that's close to the Shrine of Resurrection, I really do think that the first one you should go to is the Sky one, so that you can get Rivali's Gale, because that's such a powerful tool.
One. Yeah.
Mipha's Grace is basically just like a
Easy
save.
mode.
It's like an extra
Easy
fairy.
mode.
but like Rivali's Gale is
it helps you.
It helps you so fucking much, especially because you don't have any stamina in the beginning, so you can't climb stuff.
Yeah. No, I totally agree. Yeah. Perfect. I think we'll probably end it there. So you have, it's on Indiegogo.
Yep, it's on Indiegogo. Our campaign goes until August 25th.
August 25th. And we're recording, what day is it today? Today is the 10th. All right, so you have 15 days.
Yeah, 14 days.
14 days. And I'll probably post this on the weekend.
Awesome.
So that's Serial Thrilla. I'll put the link in the description. Is there anything else you wanted to plug? Or you have What About Shelly is on YouTube, right? You can watch it?
Both two of my previous short films, What About Shelly and Ecstasy, are both on YouTube. Okay. If you just
search those links too.
Search those links or search k.reaume, they're both there. They're on the Queer Network YouTube.
Awesome.
You can go and enjoy those now.
Cool. And do you want to plug like Instagram or?
Yeah, well, I mean, you can follow me on Instagram. So it's k.reaume, REAUME. I post stuff.
I'll
about
do
my
some
films.
sort of text thing.
yeah, we'll work that out.
But
we'll
the
get
podcast listeners,
going.
there you go.
Yeah, you can follow me on Instagram. You can look up my shorts on YouTube.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, your place is great. Like, look at all these Power Rangers all right behind us. It's cool.
I'm a big fan of the Power Ranger toys. I always was as a kid, and then I had a bunch, and then when I was like 11 or 12, I actually sold a bunch of them at a yard sale for pennies. So they made a bunch of these like new re-releases.
Yeah.
Literally just for people like me, like
super cool
fans who have some money to spare. And so I just like having them.
Awesome. Well, thanks a lot, Kyle.
Thank you.
Oh my God, Kat.
Goodbye.
Thanks for joining us, guys. Like and subscribe, share it with your friends, and have a great day. This was Game and Scotch.
Bye.
Bye.